and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are thankful for this special community, for the time we share together, and the bounty of our nation. We are thankful for the commitment of our people who volunteer their time and talents to make our community a better place to live, work, and raise a family. We know that we alone cannot meet the challenges or provide sufficient inspiration without community involvement and the dedication of all concerned to the greater good of this city and all who reside in it. We are thankful for the beauty, the time, and the place that is Frostburg. Amen.
May I please be seated? We'll proceed with calling the roll.
Commissioner Nina Forsythe. Here. Commissioner Kevin Grove.
Here.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie.
Here.
Mayor Todd Logston.
Present.
And Commissioner Carter is unable to be present tonight.
I'll consider approval of tonight's agenda.
I move we approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve tonight's agenda. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Agenda is approved. Moving on to the minutes. So this is item 6A, approval of the minutes from the November regular council meeting.
I make a motion we approve the minutes from November regular council meeting.
Second.
Duly moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the November mayor and city council meeting. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Approved. And then this would be the closed session that was held after last week's work session. This is item 6B.
I move we approve the closed session summary and meeting minutes from last week.
Second.
Okay, duly moved and seconded to approve the summary and meeting minutes from the closed session of December 10th, 2024. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Stands approved. As far as I'm aware, nothing under item 7, special presentations. Okay, so we'll move right into item 8, agenda item 8, department reports.
I move we approve the monthly reports.
Well,
Are you doing the reports?
All right, good evening. I have a highlight reel from the month of November from the Community Development Department. First of all, the busy season for code enforcement is winding down. Most of the cases that were opened in November were in reference to broken windows and some general exterior property maintenance. We're kind of out of high grass season, thankfully. And we are preparing to transmit a few cases to district court for some citations that were issued if compliance is not achieved by mid-month here in December. On the permit side of things, we had 8 permits issued in November. A majority of those were for people enclosing their porches, which was interesting, and a couple driveways. So that was the bulk of our permits this month, or in November, excuse me. And then on the rental housing side of things, we're gearing up for licensing season. We'll talk a little bit more about what that will look like when we get to the resolution portion of things. But so we'll be sending out a bulk license renewal mailing at the end of the month, and we'll begin the license renewal process throughout January, February, and hopefully not March, but it might go there. And as I said, we've been working really diligently to prepare that action plan for the rental housing program revamp. On planning and zoning side of things, at their November meeting, the Planning Commission reviewed a sketch plan for a 168,000 square foot expansion to the vertical converting building, or some folks know it as Sierra Hygiene, out on Hoffman Hollow Road. This is their second large scale expansion, so we're really excited about that. Last month, we also submitted an application for Sustainable Maryland's Action Grants program. That provides funding. It's a brand new program, and it provides funding for sustainability initiatives across the state. So if we're awarded funding, these funds will be used to support further development at the Edible Arboretum. So when I wrote this, I said internal award notifications are expected mid-December. We actually got that notification today, but we're not allowed to make any kind of public statements yet. So that will be forthcoming. Keep your fingers crossed. And speaking of grant awards, to wrap things up, we are still waiting to hear back about our strategic demolition funds that we applied for through DHCD. But I did hear from a state employee that those announcements will be made either tomorrow or Thursday. So keep those fingers crossed. We've been waiting to hear on this since June, so. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
I'll do all the public works, parks and rec, water, and street departments. Pretty much business as usual. Another good month for us in the water department. We are starting the next phase of the water meter upgrade program. So we have ordered the next phase of radio red meters to start taking the place of the 20-year-old or older radio red meters. Once we get those in, that progress will keep moving to try and get 100% of the city to new radio red meters. We're almost at 99.9% radio red meters, just some of them are older and we want to bring everything up to speed. In the street department, we did get all of our salt and all of our grit delivered, so that does mean that the salt building is officially 100% done. It is full of salt and grit now, and we have been using it. Obviously, we've had our first couple plowing sessions of the year. It's good to get that one out of the way and work out the kinks in the trucks and the system.
Did you have a ribbon cutting?
No, we should have. But no, everything went well. Plowing's been good every once in a while. With the first couple storms of the season, we get calls about certain areas that get missed with new drivers and things of that nature, but we've pretty well worked out all the kinks. Obviously, the Christmas tree is up. In the Parks and Rec, Water, and Street Department, we did the wreaths. In Parks and Rec specifically, we did Storybook Holiday and the Christmas Parade, which went very well. Parks and Rec themselves are currently working in some of the park bathrooms around town, doing work in there while no one is in there, doing some floors, some partitions, and just some general upgrades to those. In the Public Works Department itself, obviously we are working with all the CSO jobs, which I'll touch on later. Salt building is done. The Bureau of Mines building, which we are building on behalf of the Bureau of Mines, our tenant at the Armory building, is still underway. We're under contract with Kaufman Metals to do the building itself. We are in the next phase of our timber management plan out at Piney Reservoir. It looks like we're going to most likely do a crop tree release this year, which, to make a long story short, is just thinning out some of the small scrub timber that's not worth anything to allow the valuable timber to grow more effectively. And that's through the DNR. We partner with the DNR to do that, and Department of Natural Resources. We are still moving forward with the additional well project on city property as a fourth source of water. That is in the preliminary feasibility stage with Triad Engineering, which we will present at PACE for the funding for the further study. And then finally, in Public Works, we are still moving forward with the roundabout project in terms of planning. Obviously, we have a few things we want to approve there in the future, but in the Public Works realm, we are still ironing out all the planning that we can do now so that in the instance when and if we go forward, we are ready. That's really the long and the short of the report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Is there any update on the food pantry building?
Yes and no. I'll defer to Elizabeth on that one.
5 of the 6 deed signers signed on Friday. The other one just was overnighted and probably being delivered right now to the one deed signature. And that should be, as soon as we get that signature page back notarized at the city attorney's office, it'll be recorded, and then we can move forward with construction. Brian has been out trying to use up his vacation time this month, so in January we plan to get together with the Parks and Rec guys and get a concept together, and then we'll probably just do a building kit through one of the metal companies.
Great.
Is there an ETA for delivery of the equipment at Glendenning?
Do we know?
January.
January, about what we've heard.
That's all I've got. So,
Great
thanks.
time for a playground.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
But they will be installing it, our guys do not have to install it.
Right.
And then Elaine, the Director of Finance, has been excused this evening, but she has asked me to read her report. The city has continued to work on the audit for the year ending on June 30. Because of all the federal funding that the city received, we were under a single audit this year, which has made for more in-depth and more review of some of the projects. So the auditor was not able to feel comfortable to complete it by the end of this month. So an audit extension was requested and granted through January 31st. The state of Maryland has to approve those extensions. The Finance Department continues the work to transition from quarterly to monthly utility bills. That plan that Elaine laid out for you earlier this year has gone very smoothly. All accounts were billed during the first 2 weeks of December 2024. Those accounts that have no water consumption and no past due balances did not receive a bill because there was no surcharge is on anyone's bill for the month of December. And as you remember, the surcharges are being billed after the fact instead of proactively now. Beginning in January 2025, utility bills will be generated around the 10th of the month and with a due date of about the 7th day of the following month. In terms of real estate taxes, the second installment due date for real estate taxes is December 31st to avoid interest, and the city accepts the postmark of December 31st for payments by mail. Tax and utility account information is always available to customers via the city's website using their account number and PIN, and we strongly encourage utility and tax customers to sign up for e-billing. Those are all the items from the Finance Department. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, that is all of the reports with the exception of the Police Department. Can I entertain a motion?
Make a motion to approve the city department's monthly reports.
Second?
Duly moved and seconded to approve the reports of the various city departments. Any further discussion on that? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Department reports are approved. Moving on then to item 8B, this will be Commissioner Ritchie.
Your special collection notice, as always.
Oh, for the,
For trash collection for next year.
okay.
Here.
This will
Hayden, you want to go over? Thanks. Bob.
So, curbside Christmas tree pickup will be January 13th, 2025. Regular garbage collection, for holidays. New Year's Day will be January 1st. Juneteenth will be Thursday, June 19th. Veterans Day, Tuesday, November 11th. Thanksgiving, Tuesday, November 28th. Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 24th. Christmas Day, Thursday, December 25th. Yard waste collection is the second Monday of each month, beginning on April 14th through September 8th, Monday, October 6th, and Monday, October 20th, Monday, November 3rd, and Monday, November 17th. Residents are reminded that yard waste must be set out on the curbside in either biodegradable paper yard waste bags or reusable cans. Bulk cleanup, the annual bulk pickup will be held on Tuesday, May 20th, Wednesday, May 21st, and Thursday, May 22nd. This is the week prior to Memorial Day. Collections will be on the same day as normal garbage collections. So if you're on Tuesday, you'll stay on Tuesday. If you're on Wednesday, you'll stay on Wednesday. The bulk pickup is provided for only city residential garbage customers. So commercial or dumpster customers are not eligible. And the street department will not pick up appliances with freon-based refrigerants, tires, batteries, televisions, or computer monitors with picture tubes, paint, or other chemicals or hazardous materials. And then finally, just a note at the end, collection subject to weather conditions or other emergencies. So if the trucks aren't running due to weather or breakdowns, then obviously things change and we adapt. All of the other approved requirements apply for each type of waste. Special pickups can be arranged for a prepaid fee of $75.
This will be posted to the city's website, the Facebook page, and then as the dates approach, it'll be added to the pre-recorded voicemail message at City Hall.
Very good. All right, before we move on then to the CSO hearing, one other item just to put into the public record. Mayor and Council today received a letter of resignation from City Administrator Elizabeth Stallman, who has taken position as the Executive Director for the Tri-County Council of Western Maryland. We were made aware of this some time ago, but we received the formal resignation letter today, and we are very begrudgingly and very unenthusiastically accepting it because we understand how good of an opportunity it is for Liz.
But we do understand.
Yeah.
It's best for you and your family.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We couldn't be more happy with the work that you've done. We couldn't be more proud of you if we tried.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
And we wish you all the best.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, as far as any decisions about, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're,
As far as the leadership transition, or what will happen, Elizabeth's last day will be January 31st, 25. So, as far as what the leadership structure will look like after that date, or what will be done until a permanent administrator is hired, we're not sure yet. Mayor and council will have to discuss that, and announcements will be made at the January meeting. Item 9, public hearing for CSO.
Yeah, so I'll take over the CSO discussion. Pretty much business as usual in all the CSO realm. Phase 10A, which is our most active phase, is in winter shutdown. We are waiting on a back-ordered fence there above the new retaining wall and sidewalk at Mountain Ridge High School. We're hoping that gets in at the end of this week, if not next week, to install that fence and officially open that sidewalk. And then come the end of winter shutdown, usually about March 13th through the 20th, we will start on the McCullough and below into the new piping phase of that project. And that'll close that project in the spring, early summer of 2025. 10B and 10C, they are in the MDE review process. As soon as we get everything back from them, we will take that project to bid. This is just a reminder that there will be sidewalks for 10B and 10C through portions of Washington and McCullough streets that were not there before. We do intend to have more public meetings in the future.
they were there before.
Yes,
They're just
yes,
under the
yes.
ground.
Correct. So where the sidewalks were at one time or are visible now, there will be sidewalks there again.
They're being resurrected.
Yeah.
Correct. We do anticipate there being lots of questions throughout this process from the public, homeowners in that area. We do intend to have some strictly public meetings, CSO 10B and 10C related, to answer questions about them. But this is just to be very early and preemptive about it, that there will be changes coming to the Washington, McCullough, Sleeman, Nancy Grasmick, Mountain Ridge area of town. And this is just to get the word out there so people are aware of it and it's not surprising. And then our other two semi-active projects are Phase 8C, which is North Grant, and Phase 9D, which is Center Extended. Those projects are approved, given notice to proceed. Materials have been ordered, so we do have stored materials, and mobilization has begun, so we will be getting a bill from our contractor to go back to our funding agency, and that project is officially off the ground and moving. The bulk of 9D, which is Center Street, will occur in the summer when the kids are gone from FSU, just so that area is as least congested as possible. However, 8C, which is North Grant, we do intend to work on throughout the winter as weather permits, and then start in earnest in the spring and summer. If there are any questions, be happy to go into it.
You can do kind of like a stop-start thing on 8C.
Yes, just as long as we can get portions of work going that we're not going to have to leave a giant hole in the ground. So it'll be phased work that we know that we can get done in a small gap. But there's a lot of things like that we can do at the beginning of a project that are test pitting to find where utilities are in the ground, certain mobilizations, some sewer line disconnects or tie-ins that we can do in a day's time. But it will be a bit of a start and stop with those projects.
Back to the sidewalk above the tennis court. I know, forgive me if you said this, and I just didn't hear it. The fence at the top has been ordered, but it's not in yet. Do you know when that's going to be installed?
We're hoping the end of this week.
Okay,
Yeah.
So my follow-up question to that was, I know that there are signs posted everywhere, but I also know that I see kids leave school every day, either with their phones in their hand or just not, and walking on there. So aside from the fence, is it otherwise safe to walk on, even though it's technically closed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's stabilized.
Okay.
So it is the final product, other than the fence that will go on the downhill side of it.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, and maybe this week, you said?
Hoping so, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You're just watching to see if they're gonna go tumbling down the embankment.
Well, it's a good drop if you go over and look at it.
Yeah, it's like gradually and then all at once.
Right.
But if there's no other questions, so, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item 10, under old business, is there anything under old business that we've forgotten? Okay, moving on then to 11, new business. So this will be consideration of resolution 2024-77.
Yep, so I'll present Resolution 2024-77. These are the 3 collective change orders for the SALT building. As you remember, change order number 1, we'll order them here. Change order number 1 was just adding time to the contract, which we gave to Lashley's. It is done now. The building is done. There is salt and grit in it, and we're happy with it. Change order number 2 was some of the additional costs for removing the unforeseen materials in the ground that Lashley's incurred while actually starting to build the building. That amount was $21,893, and then they had to replace it with clean fill and good subgrade. And then change order number 3 was actually to add some light fixtures in the building. We found out kind of midstream that we weren't going to have enough light per some safety and OSHA standards, so we came through and just said, let's just do it now and add the lights. And now if you go out there in the dark, it is well lit. So our guys are quite safe. But that was $1,528, and they are the sealed light fixtures, so they are salt resistant. So that's a bit of the price there too, price and install. But if there are no questions about those amounts or the details or the specs on any of that, I would just ask for a motion in a second on 2024-77.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-77.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-77. Anything further among council?
I do have a question about the lights. Are they like motion activated or?
It's just on a switch.
On
So,
switch.
Yep.
Anything else? Any public comment? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 77 is approved. Resolution 2024-78.
Yes, so resolution 2024-78 is for the rest of the finality of the contract with Brutus to do the engineering and construction engineering portion, not construction admin, my apologies, for the roundabout project. So we went to State Highway, had some discussions, then State Highway went back to Brutus. We pulled some things out of the scope of the project, and subsequently we brought the cost down of the final design phase. So the new amount for the final design phase from Brutus to finish the engineering and design is $108,621.05. Not too much to this one to explain. If there are any questions though, I'm happy to dig into any details. If not, I would ask for a motion and a second to approve that final contract.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-78.
Second?
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-78. Any further discussion among council? Any public comment? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 78 is approved. Next is resolution 2024-79. Oh, yes.
At your work session on last Tuesday, staff presented a multi-phase plan to fully revamp the rental housing program. One of the most notable changes was bringing the rental housing inspector position in-house. We currently have 2 third-party inspectors, and staff has proposed to bring the rental inspector position in-house as part of this overhaul process. So resolution 2024-79 is in reference to that and is authorizing staff to move forward with implementing these changes over the next 6 months. I just wanted to note that I did have the opportunity to sit down with Commissioner Carter and go over what I've proposed in detail since he wasn't able to be at the work session, and he is on board fully. So I just wanted to make that note. I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have. Otherwise, I would ask for a motion and second to approve 2024-79.
I move we approve resolution
Easy for you to say.
2024-79.
Second?
Duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-79. Is there any further discussion among council on that?
I better not even try.
Yeah. Thank you for checking with Commissioner Carter. That was, okay. Any public comment? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 79 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 2024-80.
Thank you, Mayor. As discussed at your work session, this resolution does not change the overtime meal policy, but it makes an increase in the reimbursement rate from the current $8 to $11, which is slightly more than the inflation, but trying to get ahead a little bit. the value of that meal. So this is people that are on overtime hours in excess of their $40 for every additional shift they work. They're entitled to one meal reimbursement. If there's any questions, happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion in a second to approve Resolution 2024-80.
Make a motion, we approve Resolution 2024-80.
Second?
Duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2024-80. Is there any further discussion among council on that? I think it's probably about time.
Yeah.
Any public comment on that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 80 is approved. Next will be Resolution 81.
This resolution is approving a contract for the year of 2025 with Rich Reinhardt and Percy Public Affairs as the state lobbyist for the city of Frostburg. We have been using Rich for the last year, and he has helped us navigate some challenging political conversations, and I believe has been a true asset to the city. So it would be my recommendation to approve Resolution 2024-81. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. The amount is $1,750 per month.
I move we approve Resolution 2024-81.
Second.
All right, it's been duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2024-81. Any further comment among council?
I agree, he's been really helpful.
Yeah, he's done very well. Okay, anything else? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 81 is approved. Resolution 82.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is related to PFAS litigation. Commissioner Forsythe discussed learning more about this opportunity through a presentation at the MML Fall Conference. The city does not have any known PFAS contributors to our water supply, but because of the nature of the PFAS, they can show up anywhere. And the way phase 2 of this litigation is structured is Frostburg is listed as a eligible complainant. So the attorney that Nina had the opportunity to meet with is with the Stagg Louisa firm. They take the standard 30% of any settlement that the city were to receive. If the city is not found to be entitled to any funding out of this lawsuit, the city gets, or the attorney would get no money. The attorney will do the data collection, working with our water treatment plant staff and Hayden. The monies that the city would receive, if eligible, would have not the stringent restrictions on them that we've seen with the opioid litigation money. It would just be more related to water improvements, generally speaking. So this I did present with the city attorney, Michael Cohen. He thought it all sounded reasonable and did not think there was anything to lose with moving forward with exploring this ongoing litigation. So if there's any questions, or if Commissioner Forsythe would like to add anything?
Just that there's no cost to us, it's on contingency, and if there is, something that comes our way through the litigation, then it's a plus in my mind.
So I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-82.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-82.
Second?
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2024-82. Any further comment among council? I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it costs us nothing, and if we're entitled to anything, it's certainly worth it to get what we're entitled to. Anything else? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 82 is approved. I believe there's one more, Resolution 83.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Sorry, I touched it. This is in regards to amendments to the personnel manual. There we go.
This won't be a problem next month.
And I just wanted to briefly go over these with you. Within the next 6 months, I would expect for a complete revision of the entire personnel manual, but there's 2 chapters that I'm bringing forward to you this evening that are time-specific. The first one, chapter 6, is related to wages and hours. It clarifies a few simple things that we don't have clarity on right now, such as daylight savings time and holiday pay. But it makes the transition that was budgeted for back in May of this year to overtime pay being standard form of pay and comp time being optional up to 160 hours. It will cap comp time at 160 hours and overtime pay would be the default. The city used to be pretty much comp time only, and has been gradually transitioning to more overtime because of the long-term liability that comp time carries on the city's audited financial statements. So again, that is a big change, but we've been taking gradual moves to pay more overtime. In addition to that, it creates a comp time policy for exempt employees, which are generally your department heads. Under the current policy, they're not eligible for any comp time, and so what this does is if there's a period of extreme busyness for one of your department heads, they are able to earn comp time on a one-for-one basis and carry it for a short period of time, up to 80 hours. But it doesn't have to be used within that pay period. So this is a new provision. There's times where any of our department heads, whether it's Bethany, Hayden, Brian, Elaine, have a really busy season that, they might be working 100+ hours in a pay period and are compensated for it. And this just gives them a little more flexibility. Again,
The meetings outside of working hours, I mean, that's sort of assumed anyways. I'm not sure why that one's included in comp time.
well, I think there's some discretion there that your department heads would not abuse, but just based on my experience with the city, when I was in Bethany's role, there's been months that I've had 8 to 10 meetings between city meetings and other evening events and meetings that I've attended. So that gets to be a bit burdensome. So
So just to go back to what the other thing you said, that it's not required to be used within that time period. Is there a drop dead date? In other words, the 80 hours that's carried for salaried employees, must be used by the end of the year, or it can just cap at 80?
so it's capped at 80.
Right.
And then encouraged to use within 60 days. We use the word encourage because we don't have a mechanism within our payroll system to, like, you earn an hour, it doesn't track when you actually earn that hour. So encourage is the term that the city attorney and I agreed on, and if that 80 hours is just hanging out for years on end, that's when Elaine or the city administrator can yell at whomever else to confirm that comp time.
Okay.
So, it is a liability, but 80 hours is, I feel like, a reasonable amount of time. So, it just clarifies acting pay, no big change there, but that's just included in that section. And then for employee leave, it addresses holidays, holiday pay, as I mentioned earlier. It puts that in writing. It does not change the practice. It just puts it in writing. It also changes how it will be entered into the payroll system, but the net effect for the employee does not change. They will still be paid the same amount. It's just making it more consistent between all three types of holiday pay. And then annual leave is the big change. Currently, the city dumps or provides a lump sum of vacation on January 1. And for people that have 20 plus years of service, that's a very large incentive to plan your retirement in January or February. So what this does, which benefits the new employees, younger employees, but also I think we have provisions to take care of the employees that have been here for a long time, that plan to retire in the next couple years, but it moves it to an accrual basis, which is the common way vacation is earned. These rates of earning are generally very similar, if not slightly more generous to the rates that we have right now. It also gets rid of admin days and includes admin days and vacation days in this new calculation that is being referred to as annual leave. It puts a transition period in for people that have been here for more than 20 years that might have more annual leave than that current cap, and it caps it. Another thing that is new is right now we have a max of 240 at the end of the year, and you can only roll over 40, not to exceed 240 at the end of the year. It gets rid of that rollover of 40, and it just limits it to a maximum of 280 hours at any time in a given year, with these exceptions for long-term employees. So this will significantly reduce the amount of manual tracking that is done by the finance department for these employee benefits, as the system can track everything the way this is written, which is also a big reason for the change. I will be holding a staff meeting for all city employees on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. to go over these provisions and answer any questions anyone might have. But again, I think it is a change, it is a sizable change, but it really doesn't change the benefit to the city employees. It just modernizes policies that we have to go along with the modern payroll system that we use. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-83.
I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 2024-83.
Second?
Duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2024-83. Any questions or comment among council? Just to clarify, I know you said this, but I just want to repeat it. So employees that we have currently who are over the cap for comp time, they'll have a transition period where they'll be able to, they're not going to lose it.
Correct.
They'll be able to use some of it. Got it. Okay. Anything else among council? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 83 is approved. That is everything under new business. Chief Costello.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I have a very brief report for you for the Police Department for the month of November of 2024. We had 437 incidents, and the year before that in November we had 679. Fairly regular business for the month of November. We actually had a pretty low number of arrests, only 6, which I think is a good thing generally, that we're not seeing a high level of crime and that type of activity. We had 7 well-being checks, 22 assist other agencies, 30 requests for a police officer, 31 disturbances of various types, 10 motor vehicle crashes, and 1 DWI arrest. 2 of our biggest community events just happened the last 2 weeks. The first Saturday in December, we had Storybook Holiday, and Coco with the Popo. Parade went very well, and we think we had somewhere around 600 people come through the police station. That's including children and their parents and that sort of thing. So we had a very busy day, very positive time with that. And just this Saturday, we did Chocolate Cop down at Walmart and the Crescent Town Eagles. So very nice time. We actually had 4 Frostburg City police officers involved in that this year, which is a good number for being a bit short-staffed. So that was very nice. And when we go to the Cresaptown Eagles, they do food and they do door prizes. And of the 4 kids we had, 2 of them won bicycles on
Oh, wow.
the raffle door prizes. So that was pretty neat. But that really concludes my report, unless you have any questions.
So you say you're short-staffed?
Oh, yes. Well, so yes, I've got some bad news and some good news. Okay, bad news is we're down to 1 in the academy as of Friday. But we did interview a pool of applicants recently for the next academy in the late winter. There's one in Sykesville and one in Hagerstown, and it was a very promising pool, and several of them are advancing through the process at this time, so very positive there. Yes.
When does what's the start date for the next academy?
That's a good question. I will have to double check.
I mean,
but
just
yeah.
January, April?
Approximately March.
Okay.
They're really close together. I think
Okay.
Sykesville starts slightly before, maybe late February, early March, and Hagerstown is shortly thereafter.
And it's about a 6-month program?
Yes,
So if
sir.
we get them in March, by September, they could be through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that would be great. They're getting a little closer to 7 months, but yeah, we could potentially be in very good shape by late 2025.
That'd be great. Yeah. Anything for Chief? Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything your officers do. Please pass our, appreciation along to them.
Certainly, Mayor. Thank you for your continued support and encouragement. Thanks to each of you on the council for your continued support and encouragement. Thank you, Ms. Stallman, for all that she has done for the police department and our city during her time as city administrator.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Item 13 on the agenda is open public comment. This time for Frostburg citizens or anybody to come forward. Ms. Mayor, if you would, please.
Just announce your name and address for the record.
You got it. Hi, folks. My name is Kelly Mears. I live at 58 Linden. Happy to be here. Okay, sorry. I want to talk to you about something that might get me a little bit emotional, so I just want to preface that and let you know kind of where I'm coming from. So you don't know much about me, but I moved here to Frostburg about 2 years ago. Love it here. I live here with my longtime partner, Sarah. We are a queer couple who has a dog and 2 cats. We both work in and around the area. You may have seen them as a former employee down at the co-op. And I work in remote work, but I also am a local business owner. So about a week ago, it came to my attention that a group came to visit Frostburg State University to protest and create a public demonstration where a lot of hate was spewed. And I'm a huge advocate for our freedom of speech, and I want to start with that just to make sure that it's clear that I respect the laws that our country has in place for people to speak their mind, and they're entitled to having different opinions. But what I'm concerned about is the precedent that this community is shouting and accepting of this language that is anti-woman, anti-queer, and just really, really hurtful, patriarchal, misogynistic language. And I wasn't there on campus. I didn't have a chance to be a part of any of the demonstrations or counter demonstrations, but the testament that I heard, the video I saw online, it sends chills down my spine thinking that those words are being said down the street from my home, where I invite my other family members, my queer family members, to come and be in community with me here in our beautiful town of Frostburg. FSU is its own little entity within our town, our city, and I know that there are relations there that are important, that they have their job to uphold and we have our job to uphold. And so I just, in front of this space, I want to be clear that, we do have things that we can do to make sure that students at FSU, but also community members at Frostburg, are safe when it comes to public demonstrations like these. Having access to the right kind of permits that make sure we know what people are going to be there, which people are there, and holding them accountable so that if hate speech is thrown at public awareness demonstrations, that those folks can be held accountable for the crimes that they're causing, right? These are not just innocuous words thrown around. When these are words that are thrown around at federally protected groups of people, these are crimes. And I want to be very clear that what we do as a city and as a municipality sends messages. And I'm not asking you to go out there and pursue folks, but I am saying that we have a responsibility to make this place a safe place for all people who want to live here, including and especially trans and queer Frostburgians. And so that's where I'll kind of leave that, is I don't know what you can do, but I know you can do things. And whether that's encouraging, queer and safe spaces, encouraging the rainbow flags and our businesses to participate in events like Pride that will happen throughout 2025 and beyond, that are going to continue to get louder as being queer in this country is being threatened every single day. I feel safe walking down the streets of Frostburg, and I never want to feel like that's not true. So my charge to you all is to please do everything in your power to keep Frostburg a safe and accessible place for myself, for queer and trans folks like myself and my family members. Whether I came here, whether I've lived here my whole life, whether I moved here like my family did 2 years ago, whether you come for school and that's the only purpose you're here, or you come for work, you should feel like you can belong. And having nothing in response to activities like that doesn't feel empowering. But walking down Main Street and seeing rainbow flags and seeing queer folks being safe holding their hands, that reinforces that those words, that's your opinion, and that's fine. Keep that in your space. Be happy with that, but not in a public space like this. And you're not going to throw hate speech in my mouth, and you're not going to make my safe space no longer something that I can just be and exist in this town. So, thank you. I'm happy to field questions, but I really just think I just wanted you guys to know.
Do you feel any less safe since that incident?
I feel concerned knowing that there's not a backlash to language that is so targeted against my community.
There was some backlash, wasn't there?
I believe there was a counter protest, yeah.
There was.
Yeah, I'm not sure how big, how many of those were there. I think the trends are really what starts to become something that's unsafe. I came from a community that was directly attacked. I lived in Colorado Springs during 2022 when Club Q, which is a nightclub, a queer nightclub in that community, was shot up, and 5 members of the queer and trans community were murdered. The way a community responds to violence against a marginalized group matters, and inactions mean as much as action. That's how I'll answer that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I mean, certainly we want to make sure that everyone that lives in Frostburg knows, but also is confident in the knowledge that certainly are safe and welcome here, out on the street, anywhere. We certainly want to make sure that that's something that is commonly known and understood. So thank you for bringing that forward.
And I wanted to say thank you. You've done a great job. I've been able to witness your work here, and you did a great job. And thank you. I know you got the closed session now.
No, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Anything else there's no one else from the public here, but anything else from okay. Moving on then, so I have a quick statement to read here under item 14 for adjournment. Pursuant to Annotated Code of Maryland General Provision Article Section 3-305B1, a closed session may be held to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of an appointee, employee, or official over whom this public body has jurisdiction, or any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. Closed session is needed in order for the mayor and council to discuss filling of vacant positions. We would consider a motion to do that.
I move we close,
Trina.
I'll make a motion to move to closed session.
There you go.
Second. It's been duly moved and seconded to close the public portion of the meeting and move into a closed session. Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, the